So, Robbie, congratulations on this. It's one of the best found footage films I've seen in a while.
Thank you. I'm
Uh,
glad you liked it.
a lot of people overuse this found footage, and it seems like a movie shot very in very poor quality. But this one feels like people actually playing around with a camera. How did you get to that style? How did you plan this out?
Yeah, I love shooting and I've been shooting things since I was little. And I always thought that a found footage movie doesn't have to be ugly or shitty looking. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there are some that are not. Um but for example, like Blair Witch Project, it's to me it's such cinema in the way it's shot, even though it
Mhm.
looks very raw. Like to me, it's beautiful, the original Blair Witch Project. But for this I just I'm a big Terrence Malick fan and I thought it would be a unique blend to marry some of those wide angle Terrence Malick-y landscapey things and flowing beauty with horror. I would really love to see Terrence Malick do like a hell movie. So I'm hoping a little bit of that is in his next film, which is I believe about Jesus, but I'm not sure. Anyway.
Uh, One of the most interesting parts about this is that it shows just enough to get us scared, but not enough to the point where we lose interest in the evil or the villain in the story.
Mm.
Uh, how do you begin to write something like that? Because most of the time you're explaining everything in the script. How do you go from a script to what you ended up with?
I'm not really sure other than instinct and testing things and experimenting. Also, in this case, not necessarily with other movies I want to make or have made, but in this case, I just didn't. I just wanted to trust that some people will totally get it and not really care if some people didn't. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. For as an audience member, I was captivated by it. I wanted to see more. I But at the same time, since it is found footage, it made sense that not everything was documented.
That is one
Um,
of the initial rules as like if you actually there's not going to be like really important conversations on film
mhm,
necessarily. They're not gonna film everything, especially when shit goes down. There's no way they're gonna capture everything
mhm.
properly, and I didn't want anything convoluted or contrived or I get contrived is the right way. I didn't want anything contrived in it, and I wanted to leave a lot out. Also, the point is like you're a detective, or this is like you're supposed to be sifting through evidence and trying to determine what happened, and so yeah. So thanks. Glad you like that part of it.
That is incredible. And as a director, as a writer, how much trust do you put into this cast? How much liberty do you give them to ad lib or to just play around to make this seem more like a group of friends playing around with a camera?
Oh, well, we all actually are friends, so it was really just letting us be ourselves, and I trust them fully to. I knew that each of them could do whatever I needed them to, and I knew that we would have fun while filming. I knew that if things got a little annoying or uncomfortable, that they'd be able to handle it. And I know that they have my back, and if I needed to do a reshoot, that they'd figure out a way to help me do that, and you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
but it was all, yeah, it was tons of ad libs and fun. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And for your cinematographer, what was the process of talking to them and figuring stuff out with them?
Oh, I was a cinematographer, so that was pretty easy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was just like
So,
talking to myself, and I was like having arguments with myself. So,
what were some of those talks with yourself like?
um, it was like, is this too cliche? Like, for example,
Yeah.
I would shoot something and be like, is this something that feels too cliche to me that I've seen before? But mainly no, mainly it was just trying to find the right shot and playing with the camera until the right shot found its way into the frame.
And your group of friends that were your cast, what made you decide to use them instead of casting actors from somewhere else?
They each have qualities that I love, especially, I mean, which makes sense because they are some of my closest friends. I thought that they would be a lovely group to watch together interact. I wanted the characters to like each other, and we all do like each other, so it was kind of easy to capture that. And I do think they each have a very unique personality, like most people do, but they each have something different to bring to the movie. And yeah, it's like very subdued and kind of quiet. It's not the typical like delving into character, but I like watching each of them. Not so much myself, but that's why I'm behind the camera.
Awesome. And there's a ton of blood in this.
Oh
What was that like? How was that cleanup process? Was it fun to get into all this blood? Well,
my.
can you tell
Cleanup
me
was
about all that?
difficult because we would be caked and covered in blood out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of times we had to drive back to like hours while covered in dried blood. Um, so there was one time, I had to stop at a gas station and go in and get some stuff to eat, but like while still have like cake blood all over me. One of the nights though, we did stay at a lake house for a lot of the shoot, so we would come back and go into the lake to get the blood off. But it was pretty difficult to clean up off of ourselves out in the desert. Like being naked, cleaning up blood in the nighttime in the desert when there's scorpions and snakes around, and like just using literal bottles of water was pretty miserable at certain moments, just certain moments.
And having that, I guess, aspect that not everybody's gonna get it. How did you decide what gets shown and what can happen behind the camera that doesn't necessarily need to be seen?
Trial and error and just again like instinct experimentation. I would if I put something in the movie and it felt fake or like it
Mhm.
just didn't feel like feel like the movie. There's a lot of stuff that I filmed and I put it in there and it just didn't feel like the movie. So, but really it's all like instinct stuff in this case.
Yeah, and the look for the villain or all the little creatures, it was creepy. It was terrifying, even though we can't really see what they are most of the time. Where did that inspiration come from? Did you watch something else that had something similar? How did you come to that?
I actually don't remember how I came up with the I don't remember how I came up with the little things that you see that are going by really quick. I don't remember
Yeah.
how that happened, but um some image came to me of the bigger creature, like an image for the film just came to me and I tried to recreate it. And I found that by looking at different materials and things online and putting them together. But as for the little things, I really can't remember how that happened. But now they remind me a little bit of like the movie Tremors, like
Okay.
the tongue things that come out of
Mhm.
the graboids. But that wasn't necessarily in my mind when I was filming. It's just, oh, they kind of like remind me of that a little bit. So maybe some subconscious. I loved Tremors when I was a kid, so
Awesome. And
I still love it.
the location's fantastic. It's very deserted. Where is this location? Because you really get this sense of isolation when you when in the movie because of it.
It's filmed in various desolate locations in the Mojave Desert in a couple different states. Um, and I keep it a secret because that's more fun.
Yeah, it's definitely gives it that very desolate feel, this hopelessness that nobody's around for miles.
Yeah. I'm sure that
Anyway,
things will pop up and say, "Hey, it was filmed here, it was filmed here," but they'll be assumptions and a lot of them will be wrong. So I kind of
mhm,
want to keep it like a mystery.
awesome.
Also because
Well,
it's the wilderness. I don't want people like, if this movie becomes a little bit of a thing, I don't want people going and like trampling upon it. Um, you know what I mean?
yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations on this film. It is fantastic. Amazing use of the found footage style. I hope it gets the audience it deserves.
Thank you so much.